Hi, Patricia.
Hi,
How are you?
fabulous. I've been so looking forward to this.
We're so glad to have you.
Yeah, we're so excited about today's event. Honestly, I really think that exfoliation is one of my favorite skincare topics.
Awesome.
It's just something that's so important, but you really have to, it's kind of tricky because you have to know how to exfoliate properly, I would say.
You're right.
We ready to get started?
I am.
Okay. So nothing's off limits. So the rules are you can ask any questions and you can interrupt at any point in time. And thus far, you guys are all not muted. So feel free to interrupt, and Mafe, take us away.
Okay, guys, welcome to another Beauty Chat and Learn. As you know, today's topic is exfoliation. But as Nancy mentioned, you can ask anything about skincare routines or any other beauty related questions or spa related questions. If you have a question about a specific facial, for example, we're here to help you guys. And we talked about this last time, but the reason why we started this is because right now there's so many people, influencers, and there's people all over social media talking skincare, but we want to give you guys the info directly from the experts so that you guys have the right information, and also give you guys the chance to ask the questions that are suited for your specific concerns or skin types. So having said that, let's jump into exfoliation. Oh, and I just want to add one more thing. We do have a discount code for you guys if you guys want to shop online. It's BC20. I'll drop it in the chat, and you can get 20% off any product from now until Sunday. So let's start with the basics, Miss Nancy. Why should we exfoliate?
Well, there's a couple of reasons, and there's a couple of things that happen in the body as we get older. And if you ever feel baby skin, you'll know that baby skin is super soft. It's because their skin cells are turning over faster, and they turn sometimes every 10 days. Whereas once you hit the ripe old age of 25 to 30, you're now slowing down to 28 days. And then the older you get, it could be up until 45 days. It also depends on how healthy you are, whether or not you have great amounts of oxygen in your system, whether or not your circulation is great. So all of these affect the exfoliation process. The reason for taking off the skin is so that you uncover the skin underneath, so you're not putting moisturizer on skin and having dead skin cells absorb it. So that's the biggest reason for exfoliation, besides also helping you glow.
Yeah, we all love a nice glow. So what is the best way to exfoliate my skin? And I know that, we had a lot of questions about mature skin.
Yes.
So
there's several thoughts of exfoliation as far as how to exfoliate. There is a chemical exfoliant. I have like a glycolic cleanser. So glycolic or lactic acid or it could be another kind of acid, salicylic, is a chemical exfoliant. And there's also a physical exfoliant like a retinol glycolic scrub. So you could have two kinds of exfoliation. One is physical and the other one is a chemical exfoliant. Both are recommended as your skin gets used to one or the other. And also knowing when to use both is like, it's kind of like a balancing act for your skin.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys have any specific questions, maybe for your specific skin type that you'd like to ask Nancy?
Well, how do you know if you've over exfoliated? I mean, I assume you can do that.
Yes. And you can exfoliate. Let's say 15 years ago, a very popular scrub came out from a brand called St. Ives. And it was I think they had an apricot scrub and they had this scrub. And women were literally doing this to their faces. And it was really tearing the skin because the beads that were used were polyethylene beads. And so they were scratching the skin and causing actually tears in the skin. That's an example of over exfoliation. If you did a lactic acid, you'll notice that your skin starts to be too dry. And also you may peel and you may appear red. There's a couple of ways that you can get red or like that. It could be from high dose vitamins on your skin, but when you exfoliate and it's too much, the skin and the layer of the skin that is the healthy part becomes over exfoliated, and so it strips off all the natural oils, leaving new skin that's not prepared for the air, if that helps. Does that explain, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Okay. When you get these red spots, and sometimes it could be caused from acne medicine that a doctor has given somebody. So acne medicine could have somebody have that problem.
Okay. And kind of a follow-up question to Rebecca's question. How often should I exfoliate?
So in Europe, for example, they recommend that you never hardly exfoliate, whereas in the United States, our recommendation is at least once a week, sometimes, depending on how much oil you have in your skin, 2 to 3 times a week. So it makes a difference on that as far as exfoliating.
So talking about peels, are they good for your skin? I feel like peels can be a little intimidating or scary to some people.
Yes. I think what happens is that people sometimes they don't have enough experience with peels and knowing when to leave it on for, too long and thinking longer is better. When an acid has actually done its work in, let's say the first 5 minutes, or if you're dealing with something like a TCA, it takes a little bit longer. But knowing how to utilize and use that acid is very important in doing a peel. Peels are really good for example, for lightening melasma and also for fine lines and aging, but you have to use, and I don't think that more is better. So I think that when you do something to the skin, if you do it in smaller steps, you have better results than doing a massive peel that's going to take the skin layers off completely.
Right. And then I guess the other scary subject would be scrubs. I know you talked a little bit about the St. Ives one. Are they good for your skin? Can they you talked a little bit about ways that they can damage the skin.
I'm not a big fan of scrubs that don't have a dissolvable element to them. So I personally think like jojoba beads that dissolve, or pumice that is from a bamboo or a sand or something like that. It has a softer nature to it, and it allows you to do the scrub and do the job of exfoliating without damaging the skin.
Okay, that's good to know. And then I guess this is a very great question that we got. What's the difference between exfoliating at home versus at the spa?
So at the spa, for example, every facial we do an enzyme exfoliation. That enzyme is a powerful blend of different acids that is going to exfoliate the skin. Doing that particular enzyme peel, or doing a lactic peel, or something like a TCA peel, doing that at home, person actually applying it, and a lot of this is sold online. You don't have necessarily the experience to say when it's getting too hot and it needs to be removed, or when there's what I call a hot spot. And sometimes when you're looking at your skin, you don't see the hot spot, but somebody who's actually trained in doing peels actually can see the hot spot. So that, that's a huge difference. And knowing where to deactivate the peel and make sure that it's stopped as far as the acid, so the acid doesn't keep on going. A lot of people will do a peel at home and then they'll go work out either later that day, or they'll go out the next morning and they haven't buffered and stopped the acid so it keeps on going. So bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to quickly check in with Rebecca. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I remember last time you guys had one of these, you talked about using a washcloth every day. And do you recommend doing some sort of an additional exfoliant as well as the washcloth?
On a daily basis?
Yeah.
For most types of skin, if it's inside a cleanser, like if it's inside like a glycolic cleanser, that might be, if you did it every other day, it depends again on everybody's skin, but using a cleanser that's exfoliating every other day, and then every other day doing a scrub, is probably not going to be too much for the skin. It's just having that daily of everything done on a daily basis most of the time is too much, because it doesn't give the skin enough time to recover. And when you don't have enough time for the skin to recover, it starts to become dehydrated and then out of balance.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Can you do the washcloth every day or no?
Yes.
Okay.
The biggest reason for the washcloth is that our fingers and hands are not as adept to removing all of the toxins and makeup and everything else. And people use their hands a lot. People don't do a washcloth, but the washcloth is actually going to help get all the makeup and everything else off the face.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that the makeup definitely comes off better using the washcloth.
Yes.
Okay, and then getting into a little bit of, the spa. Another facial that I think can be a little bit controversial if you don't really know much about it is the microdermabrasion.
Right.
So is it good for your skin? How often should you get one? And what are the benefits, I guess?
So when you have a microdermabrasion facial, there's a couple of different forms of microdermabrasion. One is with crystals. And when you have the crystals, or you have a diamond tip and you have those crystals actually bombard the skin with aluminum oxide crystals, those are going to be something that you can only do, or really should do, every 28 days. So that's on the same cycle as your new skin coming up, up. Mm-hmm. Something that is, for example, an ultrasonic. So what this does is it's an ultrasonic. It actually shakes off the dead skin. So it works with water, or we like it with a special hydrating serum. that has a little bit of water in it, but that actually shakes off the dead skin. And something like that you could use every 2 weeks. So it's not as deep an exfoliation as some microdermabrasions. With microdermabrasion, the biggest issue, the biggest problem that we see with that is the damage that's done when somebody's vacuuming with a suction, or somebody is using crystals on skin that's too thin. So that skin can be damaged.
Okay.
So the suction is not good to have done?
Well, the suction can pull up capillaries. So when you pull capillaries up, in most of the time, those capillaries are never going to go back down. So as an esthetician, as a skin expert, when you pull those capillaries with the suction and somebody's doing it, but they're not looking at what's happening, those capillaries can make it even redder, and they just don't go back down the way, and it's damaged forever. So it's really the operator that's doing the microdermabrasion that I'm always like very careful of, because it's just something you have to look out for. Okay. Once those capillaries are pulled up, in the most cases, you'll see sometimes people will have them around their nose. Sometimes they'll have them close to their ears. And it's where somebody has done something that's too harsh on their face.
Wow, that explains all those facials I had at Massage Heights. I guess I shouldn't have gone there.
Well, everybody does things differently. And it just depends on the type of vacuum pressure that's being done. But that's one of my like things that I don't like about the vacuum is, and it also depends on your heritage. So for me, Irish English, I'm going to have more capillaries closer to the surface. Somebody else might have more like for example, Mafe's got like definitely more Latino skin, and she's not going to have capillaries that are as close to the surface. So when she has microdermabrasion, there's a less likely chance of pulling a capillary to the surface, whereas mine are going to be right there in 2 seconds. So it doesn't even have, it's the difference in the hereditary of the skin.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your heritage?
Oh gosh. Well, my dad we can only trace him as far back as England, and my mom is from Czechoslovakia.
Okay, so you have very strong skin from your mom's side, from the Czechoslovakia, but on your dad's side, you're going to have the British skin wants dewy, wet weather that's a little bit cool, but they don't want sun. So we were never meant to be in humid, sunny climates ever. But it's interesting because, and that's part of the whole part of us, as a whole world moving around to all the different geographic, areas now. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, the humidity definitely does a number on your skin.
Oh yes,
for sure. And then how often should someone get a microderm?
If you're doing something ultrasonically, you could do it every 2 weeks. If you're doing it with the vacuum, I would recommend it no more than once a month for the microderm. But I also like to mix up facials, and because you can use different exfoliation, you can have 1 month, you can be exfoliating the next month with an enzyme peel. The other month you could do microdermabrasion, so you can mix it up.
Okay. And then kind of going through our monthly specials, I know we have the dermaplane.
Yes.
So if someone came in and they were debating whether to get the dermaplane or a microderm, what would be some of like the main differences between those two facials, benefits wise?
benefit wise on the dermaplaning, the benefit between the microderm and the dermaplaning is you're going to get, number one, all of the vellus hair is going to be removed with the dermaplaning, which is a wonderful thing because you have super clean skin that makeup goes on extremely well. The exfoliation between dermaplaning and microdermabrasion depends entirely on the esthetician performing the dermaplaning. The dermaplaning is meant to be in a scraping motion. And with that, if somebody has a lot of dead skin, most of the time dermaplaning is not a really good choice because the dead skin is too built up in order to get a great exfoliation. They both have their purposes, but recognizing when one is good for one person, it's definitely going to be based on a personal preference for the person and their skin.
Okay. So with the dermaplaning, because I've seen pictures of this, but I've never had it done. I guess it scares me a little bit because I feel like your hair would like come back darker and thicker.
It's entirely one of those myths that is created on the internet, but it is what ends up happening after the very first time that you have it. You'll feel like after like maybe the third or fourth day, it'll feel like a little bit, maybe a prickle or two. The hair does not come back any different than how the hair was originally because of the way now if you were shaving it and cutting the hair off, it's a difference in how the blade and everything is done with dermaplaning, and it's done closer to the surface of the skin versus the way the blade is used for shaving, for example, is it's a harsher blade and you're cutting the hair off. So for a woman, unless she's got like a PCOS or something to do with an ovary syndrome problem, the hair is not going to change in any way at all with dermaplaning. And a lot of people do it. They'll do 1 month, they'll do dermaplaning. The next month they'll do microdermabrasion, but you can do dermaplaning you could actually do it every week without having any change to the hair on your face at all. None. It's the other thing too, is that you have to be really careful that there's a danger that somebody can cut you too while you're having dermaplaning, versus if you're having microdermabrasion, they're not going to be cutting you. It's not like you're using a surgical blade. Does it happen very often? Not very often, but it can happen. So it's just one of those things. It's a terrible cut? No, it's a very surface minor cut, but it can happen.
Okay.
And I know we've been talking a lot about our face, but we shouldn't neglect the body. How often should we exfoliate our bodies?
I am huge on the body should be exfoliated at least once, twice a week also. I'm a big fan of, for example, there's a product called Dermalac by Enzyme, which is 17% lactic acid, and you can use it all over the body, and it makes the skin feel so smooth because it helps to eat all the dead skin. Your body, just like around your knees, will be a really dry area. Around your ankles is always very, very dry, and your feet and your elbows. So just those areas you always want to keep very exfoliated so they don't have dry patches.
Okay. And is it as important to exfoliate your body as it is to exfoliate your face?
They're both equally as important to me. I mean, you want your skin to be in the best shape possible, And it's all through how you take care of it, what you eat, all of those things make a difference.
Do you need to use a product to exfoliate your body, or can you use like a loofah?
You can use a loofah. You can also use a body scrub. I caution you in the shower because the body scrub in the shower can sometimes be a dangerous thing of how they have scrubs. They mix with oil, or sugar sometimes is mixed with oil. But just like you scrub with, you put a scrub on the face, you can do exactly the same. There's a marvelous black Moroccan cloth glove that is Turkish, and they make wonderful exfoliation, and it helps with the circulation also of the skin and the body. One of the models, Elle McPherson, she just raves about using an exfoliation glove every day to make your skin glow. So it's always a good thing, but there are other ways.
Got it. And you want to stay away from products with oil? Was that what I?
It's just that the sugar scrubs and the salt scrubs that have oil in them, they're not. The people are designing that product in order to have it just go on nicely, but the oil is actually interfering with the exfoliation process. It's just making the scrub nice, but it's not helping with, it's helping with the consistency of the scrub and how the chemical makeup of the scrub performs, but it's not exactly making that scrub work any better, because the oil is actually interfering with the exfoliation, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You want the oil afterwards, or you want the lotion or the massage part after, but not actually while you're trying to get off dead skin. All it's doing is masking the dead skin and not really helping you remove it.
Got it.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, I think I've learned a lot.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks for staying with us, and thanks for attending.
Absolutely.
We're really trying this new format, and we're trying to figure out what makes people come and what makes people not. So we may start doing them live on Facebook. So,
interesting. Okay.
If you have any suggestions, we're quite open.
Yeah, I did some virtual sip-in shops last year, and the one time I did it with a marketing girl, and she was really helpful in that she said, you need to reach. She told me I had to reach out to like 10 people a day and invite them personally. And I thought that was really good advice. I think for that one that we did, we had like 45 people show up. It was huge. Yeah. Yeah, it was a ton of work too, which is why I stopped doing it. But, that was during COVID. So I had a little bit more time to do it, honestly.
Right.
Now I'm out and about again, so I don't have as much time. But yeah, she had some really good tips. And just, doing videos to promote it and stuff like that really helps.
Okay. We're open to any advice there.
Yeah, it's really great information.
Send us your marketing girl.
Oh, she's actually good. She's in Delray Beach. Her name's Kiri Knutson.
Okay.
On Instagram as, I think it's Coach Kiri, Keiry.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.